Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Iggyx and I'm back with another Rome 2 replay cast, and these are the finals of the All Kind tournament organized by ZEAL and we're just about to get started. This is a live cast, so I do enjoy live casts because they're a little bit more, I don't know, something about them is a lot more current and exciting. But here we're going to see a classic matchup. To give you some background, this tournament was definitely use it, lose it style, so that means that you can only choose a faction once and then you have to pick other factions. You can never use it again, so you burn factions basically. And so these two players have both cleverly saved their these power factions for the end of the tournament. So we're going to see a classic Rome versus Boii matchup. One thing to keep in mind, if you didn't watch semifinals, I highly recommend you go and watch them now. But one thing to keep in mind is that you have max 2 of the same unit in this tournament, but if you're Rome, you can bring only 1 of the same unit, which is why you see this very peculiar army from ZEAL Swordsmith here, in which he doesn't have more than 2 of any unit here. So I'm just going to quickly let them go that I'm ready, let them know that I'm ready. I'm ready here, guys. So let's talk a little bit about this matchup. Boii might struggle actually because undoubtedly VOD KOE is going to bring 2 Oathsworn. He's going to bring 2 Sword Followers, he's going to bring 2 Celtic Wars, 2 Naked Swords, I imagine. Well, maybe he won't struggle, I guess, but Oathsworn and Sword Followers are definitely one of the main reasons you'd pick Boii, and he's only going to be able to bring 4 of those units, whereas the Roman player is going to bring a lot more solid infantry. I don't know if he picked Praetorian Guard or not, but so he's gonna bring veteran legionnaires undoubtedly. He's gonna bring legionnaires. He's gonna bring Evocati, Eagle. So he has a lot of very elite infantry, and if he can block the charges of those 4 crucial units, he'll do very well in this matchup. Although we do so 2 heavy horse, which is because the Boii only have 1 serious melee cavalry unit available. He's only gonna be able to bring 2 of those, whereas Rome has a lot more cavalry at its disposal. So I don't know, I haven't seen the armies yet, obviously, but I'm definitely going to favor Rome in this one. And the power bar seems to agree as well, because the power bar is definitely in Rome's favor. So let's have a quick look at the Boii army, commanded by VOD KOE, and we'll have a look at the Roman one. So we have 2 Celtic Warriors, as you'd expect, 2 Axe Warriors, as you'd expect, 2 Sword Followers, 2 Oathsworn. We have 2 Noble... Oh, I forgot about Noble Horse, of course. So he's going to bring 2 Noble Horse. Sorry, I said that he's only going to bring 2 serious melee cav, but he's going to bring 2 Noble Horse. Noble Horse, not a brilliant unit, in my opinion, so this could be a bit risky, but we'll see what cavalry he's bringing associated with this. That's a nice choice. But we'll see what cavalry Rome is bringing. So we're going to see some light horse here as well on each flank, and some heavy horse. So 2 heavy horse, 2 light horse, 2 noble horse, and we have 3 Celtic bowmen as well, who are, well, 2 Celtic bowmen and 1 Celtic slinger. So no Levi Freeman, always disappointing. But you don't really need Levi Freeman as much in a matchup against Rome, because Rome just does not have the charge bonus to be a threat in that way, essentially, because the important thing for Rome is getting their units into combat without being charged by barbarian sword units. As long as they get into combat unscathed from a charge, they'll perform very well. It's not really about the charge that they get, it's about avoiding the charge. So let's have a look at the Roman army here. 1 Sociastati, 1 Hastati, 1 Principe, 1 Legionnaire, and then we have a backline of very powerful units. So we have these Armor Legionnaires, Evocati, First Cohort, Veteran Legionnaires, Legionary Cohort, the Legatus at the back. Then we have on the flanks Sociequites, Legionary Cavalry, Sociequites Extraordinary, Auxiliary Cavalry, and Auxiliary Numidian Cavalry. So this is quite interesting. We have some Velites and some Levies. So this is, you'll never see this in the tournament. So this is quite a good idea by Xanthi. I really do like this this tournament idea. It's a good set of rules. So this should be a very interesting match. This is a best of 3. So it's not going to be over after this one. So you can look forward to presumably what's going to be about 40 minutes of gameplay. Perhaps even an hour. Hopefully I won't bore you too much in that time. But yeah, we'll just wait for the players to get ready. I'll wish them good luck, have fun, because I'm a good guy. And they're off, I believe. Yep, they're off, so the game has started. I'm going to give the edge to Rome. I think Rome has got the edge in this one. Although we don't see any meat shield units actually. So no, I'm not going to give the edge to anyone right now because without meat shield units, Rome can be in trouble. I mean, he's going to have to use his cavalry very well to block charges. Obviously, you do have these Principes and Legionary Cohort and Legionnaires that can act as something of a meat shield, and these Hastati as well. But these guys can be quickly taken off the field by Celtic Warriors and Axe Warriors. And you don't want these guys to be your second line to get charged. These are just really too expensive to lose in a charge. So this could actually be quite dangerous for Rome as well. I'm not going to give anyone an advantage here in the beginning, actually. And Rome has no skirmish, so if these Celtic bowmen are used tactically, they could snipe some very important units here. And yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting match. So we have these light horse. They're going to chase down these auxiliary Numidian cavalry, and they're going to be very good at it because they're light melee cav and these are light missile cav. So they definitely have the potential of catching these guys. So Swordsmith better be very careful of what he does here. These noble horse just moving in the background. So yeah, we're just going to watch these guys do a little bit of skirmishing here. These light horse are going to take some serious damage. They already lost four men on that jav toss. 7 men. So this is definitely going in the favor of Rome. I'm afraid, Mr. VOD KOE, you should probably cut your losses here because these guys are approaching and he is going to cut his losses. But Swordsmith is not going to let him get away with just that, and he's going to definitely get in another jav toss here. If he can. Yes, he can. So he's going to get killed. These light horse are just so fragile. I never bring them. Although, under these conditions in this tournament, you definitely have to bring... I mean, well, you're definitely incentivized to bring light horse because you just can't bring the 4 heavy horse that's standard for barbarian factions. So, these Celtic warriors are about to engage with these Hastati and these Sociostati. Honestly, the Hastati will probably win that engagement, actually. So he's probably going to want to support with some Axe warriors. Or maybe a charge from these heavy horse. We'll see what he decides to do. These velites and levies being kept a little bit back for the time being. Rome pushing very aggressively. They don't have any skirmish, so that's what you would expect. So these levies are being shot at actually by these Celtic bowmen, which is definitely an interesting decision. Maybe he's afraid of a gen snipe of some sort. Yeah, he's definitely going for these levies. So maybe he's afraid of some sort of a gen snipe here. These Celtic warriors are getting a lot of kills on the charge, but if my hunch is right, I'm going to say that these Hastati, if there is no intervention here, are going to go very well in this engagement. They're losing decisively now, but we'll see about that in just a second. So Hastati jockeying for some position here. These auxiliary Numidian cavalry are destroying this light horse, so that's not going to go very well for them. Yeah, Swordsmith is just going to have to be very careful here. He's going to take a charge here from these Axe warriors, right after getting a noble horse charge. So this is going to go very badly for these legionnaires. They're going to die very quickly, but the noble horse is going to get caught by this legionary cavalry. So other stuff's going on right now. So these Hastati, there was intervention here, so these Hastati are going to lose. And we're going to see a clean charge here from, well, a decent charge here from these Axe warriors. Not optimal, because they're coming in this weird angled formation. But these Sociostati should do pretty well. Honestly, both these units should do pretty well. Although we are going to see a charge here from these Sociequitus Extraordinari. It's not going to be a brilliant charge. And I just missed... Yeah, okay, these Oathsworn got a brilliant charge. They're going to go very well here. These Armored Legionnaires are getting tangled up by these Light Horse. If they get charged here by these Oathsworn, they're going to be in some serious trouble. Oh no, yeah. This is the problem with this Roman army. He just doesn't have enough meat shield units. He hasn't blocked enough charges. These Oathsworn are going to kill so many of these Armored Legionnaires. These Evocati are being destroyed by these Oathsworn. And there's going to be a rear charge here from these Celtic warriors. So this is definitely not optimal. Swordsmith should definitely pull out his Sociequites here. Noble Horse intervening here. These first cohort are supporting the morale here of these Evocati. These guys who probably would be closer to routing. The first cohort, first cohort? No, Eagle cohort, the ones with the morale bonus. So yeah, my bad there. Auxiliary cavalry dying quite quickly. This is probably going to go in the favor of the noble horse. These Sociequites tangled up with these heavy horse. These legionnaires taking a brutal amount of damage here from these the combination of this noble horse and these Axe warriors. The noble horse should be pulled out of this engagement, I'd say, to get some repeated charges. So these first cohort are doing very well here against these light horse. You know, honestly, I'm going to probably... we'll see. There just weren't enough really high charge units here for the for KOE with his Boyai build to kill loads of the Roman units. So we did see some great charges from those Oathsworn, but at the same time, because he only had 2 sword followers and 2 Oathsworn, and he had no naked swords, the amount of charge damage that he got down wasn't optimal. So he has these Celtic Wars and these Axe Wars, and they're 2 units that, well, obviously Celtic Wars do well on the charge, but they're 2 units that just won't really get a really good charge, you know, that will devastate a Roman unit. So that may be the Achilles heel of this Boii army here, although these Legionary Cohort are about to die here. These Eagle Cohort taking a serious pounding here from these Heavy Horse and these Sword Followers, and these Oathsworn were allowed to get fantastic charges. And we also have this General remaining. If he gets a good charge, this is going to be disastrous, even against the full strength unit. These Principe is doing pretty well, so we have a pretty much full strength Principe unit left on the field. These Celtic Slingers are probably going to die from this charge from these Legatus, because they have turned their back, so they're taking they're dying. But yeah, this is definitely going in the favor of the Boii player, VOD KOE. And well, it's not necessarily, but I think I'm going to give it to KOE for the time being. He's getting some really nice charges of his Oathsworn, and I think it's because the charges just weren't blocked well enough by Swordsmith. Of course, it's very easy to say that here, sitting in my chair just watching this battle. It is very difficult to block charges against a good player, and clearly KOE is a good player to be in the finals. So this is just some passive commentary here, but yeah, I think the fact that he couldn't block the charges is going to result in the Boii taking this one home. But definitely a good game from Swordsmith. Although let's not count Swordsmith out just yet. These Sword Followers are going to get a nice charge here on these Principes, and these Principes are not as solid as some of the other Roman infantry, so they're definitely going to hurt from the Sword Follower charge. They are winded though. But we have some Noble Horse remaining as well, which is pretty devastating. 2 Noble Horse units, and there's going to be a rear charge here on his Legionary Cohort. So this is definitely, ladies and gentlemen, in the favor of the Boii player. And yeah, we're going to get another charge here on these Principes. These Noble Horse are going to get a lot of kills actually. And these Oathsworn are moving in to reinforce. This is definitely, we see a little bit of lag here. Hopefully it doesn't crash now. That would be definitely unfortunate. But yeah. And as we said, these Celtic Slingers were left on the field here, and there's only the Legatus can stop that, but there's just too much cavalry from the Boii player to for the Roman player to get his Legatus into these Slingers. So he's probably just going to have to live with taking eating some skirmish fires from these Celtic Slingers for the time being. But yeah, we're going to see a really nice charge from these Oathsworn and these auxiliary cavalry. These Principes dealing with Oathsworn and Sword Followers is not going to go well for the Principes, and we're going to get a rear charge here as well. And that's the end of the Roman general, and probably the end of this battle, so GG. Be a bit polite. And yeah, we're gonna see a nice, well, it's not a rear charge unfortunately, yeah, and by committing here of his Sociostati, I mean there's not much he can do anyway, he's lost at this point, but his Noble Horse is gonna get a nice charge here. So yeah, well played to both players, definitely a fun match to watch. As always, obviously Rome Boii, not the most interesting matchup, but it is interesting to see it at this competitive level. Because obviously the job of the Romans is to block charges, the job of the Boii is to get charges, and that dynamic is not seen with a lot of the other factions in the game. I mean, obviously it exists to a certain extent, but it's especially important in this matchup. So yeah, good game to both players, very interesting, and very well played with the Noble Horse of the Boii players. So these guys, usually they're not used very well, but it seems in this matchup I've been proven wrong, they've been used very well. So we're going to see 113 kills from the Legatus unit, which is pretty nice. He killed the Celtic Slingers. 114 kills from the Auxiliary Cavalry. These guys doing not brilliantly, honestly. These guys were squandered, sadly. And that's actually one of the reasons why Swordsmith struggled towards the end, because he just didn't have enough cavalry to deal with these Noble Horse. Didn't quite see what happened to these guys, though. But they're dealt with clearly. These Velitives and these Levies not doing much. No Gen Snipe, unfortunately, from these guys. And unfortunately, these Evocati cohort and these Eagle cohort and Armored Legionnaires all took some very nasty charges from Oathsworn, and Oathsworn again proving what an invaluable unit they are. These Hastati doing nothing special. Honestly, the entire Roman line took a serious beating from the Boii, so very well played to VOD KOE. I mean, his Oathsworn getting 2 chevrons each. These are important kills. It's a very impressive performance here because these were on elite infantry. Well, sub-elite infantry. These sword followers doing pretty well as well. Heavy horse and noble horse. I think these guys are the MVPs though. They did a really good job. They blocked some charges. They did some serious HP damage, allowing axe warriors to do very well here. These Celtic bowmen do nothing special, but I mean, they're quite cheap. And these Celtic slingers were left to the late game. So, very nice battle. Let's see what the players choose next. And we're back, thanks to the magic of editing. So, sorry about cutting abruptly there. Unfortunately, we had some major mess-ups. First, the players didn't choose the factions quickly at all. In fact, I was rambling on for like 5 minutes, and it's just not interesting. Then, this match was started, and Swordsmith crashed out of it. So, unfortunately, these are the hazards of recording live. But maybe in the future I won't be recording live, but we'll be casting after the fact. But looks like I'm going to have to go through the army compositions again, which is no problem. We have 2-step lancers here, so 2 of everything basically. 2-step lancers, 2-step noble lancers, 2-step armor lancers, 2 royal lancers, 2 of these formation raiders, formation horsemen, 2 Amazonians, 2-step horse archers, I would expect. Amazonians, nobles, armored, and there's the step horse archers, yeah. And we have some noble horse archers here which have been upgraded. So that's definitely interesting. Well, I mean, he didn't have much choice, honestly. There's going to be very minor variations on this rule set because you're going to have to bring as many cavalry units as you can. And yeah, so, I mean, there's not much choice. So with the Swaby player, on the other hand, there's a lot more choice. We have these Kimberly bowwomen here, so we're going to see 2 Kimberly bowwomen, I believe. No, 2 longbow hunters, 2 Germanic slingers, and some bowwomen, and 2 bowwomen, sorry. Okay, so we're going to have to see 6 skirmishers in total, I believe. We're going to see some Wodenaz spears here, so yeah, light, oh my god, spear war or light infantry, I didn't remember that. So they're going to take a lot of damage on the charge, actually. This is a very dangerous situation for the VOD player, KOE, I'd say. Because these guys will take a devastating charge. They do have cavalry counter tactics, but still, this is not brilliant for the Swaby player in some regards. He has some Spear Brothers here, which are a great unit. They are heavy, and they also have cavalry counter tactics, which will be useful. But this is a very interesting army because we see a lot of cavalry, which is not what you'd expect. These Riders of the Hunt, not a brilliant unit. These Scout Riders are a great unit for harassing horse archers. They've been used against me as a step player very effectively in the past. We see these 2. No, so we have 2 noble riders, I believe. Wait, there was 1 noble rider. So yeah, 1 noble rider, some spear women as well. So lots of spears basically. 2 spear women, 2 Wodenaz, 2 spear wall, and a lot of skirmish basically. And we have a lot of cavalry to punish the Roxolani player when he goes in for charges. Basically, we are seeing a lot of lag here, unfortunately. But so yeah, we have a lot of spears, a lot of cavalry, and a lot of skirmish power, and a lot of lag, unfortunately. But we're going to see both players moving into position soon. Hopefully this doesn't take too long because it's late here, and it's taking a toll on my voice. And of course, we're going to see the Swaby player go into the woods. You know what, I'm gonna just give the edge. You know, actually, I'm not going to give the edge. I was going to say I'm going to give the edge to the step player, but because of these woods, it kind of changes the mechanic a little bit, because horse archers are definitely not going to be as useful. If he stayed out in the open, I would give the edge to the Swaby player, because it's incredible how much damage these heavy lancers do against Swaby infantry. It's rather shocking, honestly. So, for the time being, I'm going to give the edge to no one. And we do see a little bit of an encircling maneuver here, as you'd expect with a step player. So we're going to see a bit of camping here, but we're also going to be seeing an encircling maneuver, which is very important if you're the step player. So the key thing here, I'd say, is this is a game of using your cavalry effectively on both sides. Obviously on this side, but the Swaby player has to chase out the cavalry of Swordsmith effectively and get a lot of kills after he gets charges. So Swordsmith's going to get his charges in with his cavalry. He's going to hit the spear wall, maybe try to get to the skirmishers, and then in return, the noble riders and the riders of the hunt are going to be kept away, and they're going to charge in right after the charge and then punish the shock cavalry with their very low melee defense. And if they can trap the cavalry that's charged in with their cavalry and with their spear units, they can get a lot of kills thanks to the cavalry counter tactics on many of these units. So this is a well chosen army, I'd say, from the Swaby player. He's not as heavy on the cavalry as I thought, so honestly I think this is probably the best he was going to do given the circumstances of the army pick. It's going to be difficult to dodge these slingers. These Amazonians are going to take damage eventually, there's no question about that. And they're probably not going to deal as much damage as they need to, especially because these units are in the woods. So that's definitely concerning for the step player. I wish I could fast forward right now, but I can't. And actually, these guys are going to take a lot of damage, these spear women, because they do not have the armor to deal. Yeah, you see them dropping right now. They just do not have the armor to deal with these 40 missile damage units. And of course, Swordsmith is going to be very easily dodge that volley of arrows. That's the problem with bringing arrows against step. It was used devastatingly effectively. The horse archers, I mean, they were used very well by Sol Invictus in the previous tournament that I casted against Bobby, who brought archers as well, but he really couldn't use them well because arrows are just too slow in this game, essentially. But looks like we're going to be seeing some moving in and out. That's okay, Swordsmith. So yeah, we're going to be seeing some moving in and out. Ooh! And we do see a good volley here. That was a bit of a micro fail on the behalf of Swordsmith. He really shouldn't have let his units take that volley there. So they definitely took some hit point damage. But really, he should be able, on the whole, he micros well, so on the whole, he should be able to dodge the arrows well. And unfortunately, we see another micro fail from these Amazonian riders. They took a lot of damage here from skirmish fire. He was probably microing elsewhere with his units, and as a result, he's going to take a lot of damage here. That's definitely unfortunate for ZEAL Swordsmith. Not a huge amount going on right now. These are difficult to cast, honestly, these step battles, because it's very exhausting on both your voice and your ability to think, honestly, because there's just not much going on and you have to keep talking, obviously, or else it's not very interesting. But these Germanic scouts will probably get a nice jab toss on those step lancers, and probably going to take one or two down. No, they're just going to dodge that volley, but these guys are going to take some damage. Ooh, no they don't. So these are also very well dodged, so good job, Swordsmith. He's definitely doing step factions proud here, which makes me happy. As a big step fan myself, as some of you probably know. These Germanic slings are going to get a great volley here. This is not going to be good for Swordsmith. Yeah, this is a pretty great volley. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of hit point damage and he's going to kill a lot of units here. So it looks like the Swaby player has got a pretty nice position going for him. He has these spear women who are almost dead, but he has inflicted a lot of damage on these horse archer units, and as a result these horse archer units are just going to have a lot less ammunition than they would. We see a very cheeky jab toss onto these step lancers. They'll actually take a lot of damage from those jabs there. He's just going to manage to dodge that volley there, but very cheeky from a VOD KOE. So definitely a good player from what we've seen so far, so it's great to see some good players here in the final. These Kimberly Bowen have got 12 kills, which is probably a lot more than I'd expect, honestly, because if you can dodge them well, they shouldn't get any kills. But these Germanic Slingers have 12 kills as well. They have a lot of ammunition as well, which will definitely be concerning for Swordsmith. What are these Germanic Slingers? Spearwoman. So yeah, right now what I'm assuming is going through Swordsmith's head is he's trying to figure out exactly how to tackle this defensive formation. It seems like the front is relatively unprotected and he'll probably get a lot of kills if he just does a straight up yellow charge. By the way, while nothing important is going on in the battle, let me just give you a quick tip when it comes to playing as a step faction without melee cavalry. So one of the big issues when you play a step against another faction that's not step is, and you don't pick Roxolani, is that you only have access to shock cavalry. And what that means is that when you charge in, you can very easily get stuck and lose so many men that the charge just wasn't worth it. So what you should do is, now imagine this is a line. You should form two lines when you're about to charge. One which will be the charging cavalry, They could be the cheaper ones or the more expensive ones. Both techniques work. So you could have the cheap or the expensive cavalry first, and then you can have another smaller line of cavalry here. And the role of the smaller line of cavalry here is that these guys charge in, so the first line charges in, they pull out, and then as the cavalry is chasing them out and getting a lot of kills, the second line charges in, and then they get a lot of kills on that cavalry, and it can negate many of the losses that you'd normally take as a step player. So that's a quick tip for you. When you're playing with Roxolani, you have you can do this best because you have the best mid-tier melee cavalry in the game, which is a Sarmatian Horseman. They have a great amount of melee defense, and if you charge them in after you've gotten the charge of your Lancer units, you'll kill a lot of the following cavalry. So enjoy that tip. That one's on the house. And nothing much is going on here. Swordsmith is definitely not sure what to do. See what the chat is saying here. Swordsmith is saying that nomads are boring as fuck. I don't know about that, Swordsmith. Maybe the way you play nomads is boring as fuck. I'm just kidding. But yeah, not a good volley. So Swordsmith is just gonna have to bite it and get some good charges right now because these guys are too heavy. They're not gonna get away with this one. See, that's the problem. We see the same issue with my battle against Swordsmith taking place again, which is quite fascinating. So some sort of poetic justice for a Swordsmith after he might get defeated in the same way that I was defeated. And that poetic justice is that because of the max 2 same limit on horse archers, he's forced to go for these heavier horse archers, which normally I don't go for. And why is that? Because they just cannot dodge slinger fire or archer fire nearly well enough to justify bringing them the extra price. The armor doesn't matter. If you take a volley of slingshots, they're going to feel that. The same the same thing is happening to Swordsmith. It's happened to me, so this is quite interesting. A little bit of revenge here for Swordsmith. These Kimberly bowwomen hidden in the trees here. And Swordsmith is definitely struggling here. And there's not much for me to say at this stage. Well, I guess we'll talk a little bit about what I've been doing then in the past month. So I finished my exams at university, and I'm due to graduate soon, in a week actually. And then afterwards we'll be pursuing a degree in journalism. I want to become a journalist, and yeah, so I went hiking a few days ago. It was a lot of fun. We went to the Yorkshire Moors, which are really beautiful. Went with a couple of my friends of mine, and in a few days I'm also going to be going back to Greece for the summer, which is where I come from, coincidentally. I see some of my friends from my old school, go to the beach, etc, etc, and then I'll be back to pursue this journalism course in September. And hopefully from then I can become a journalist, an established journalist. Maybe you'll see me on TV one day, but probably not, given the British economy. That's another thing to consider. I am in the UK, and I did campaign to stay in the European Union. But that definitely, as you've probably heard, that didn't go in my favor, sadly. I can't quite understand for the life of me why people would vote to leave, although I have been reading some fascinating articles of investigative journalism talking about why people voted to leave, essentially. And it's definitely interesting. It seems like a lot of people are losing out on the effects of globalization, or they think they're losing out from all the free trade because they see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. They see all this uncontrolled immigration, and they say basically it's the rich bankers at the top which are benefiting from trade with the European Union, essentially. And they're concerned. They have concerns. There's unemployment. They see immigrants that have jobs, and they say, well, "What about me? You know, I've lived in this country my whole life, and what am I going to be unemployed while foreigners have been here for a few years are going to take my job?" And they're concerned about that. I mean, I wouldn't quite agree with these concerns because obviously economics is not that simple. An economy doesn't work in a microcosm like that. But when more people come into the economy gets larger, right? So you have more GDP, you have more income, you have more money, which means more money to public services, which means more demand, which in turn means more jobs are created. So generally these concerns about immigration are not something that should be deflected on the European Union, but on the government in power, because the conservative government in power right now just haven't been building enough houses to deal with the massive amounts of immigration coming to the country. Well, I say massive, it's about 5% per year, which is quite a bit, I guess, but they just haven't been building enough houses, they haven't been spending enough on public services, and ironically, the conservative government that have been saving money so they can get their budget surplus by 2020, so they can win the election on that platform. Ironically enough, the budget surplus that they're trying to get to win them the election has probably lost them the referendum, which is quite interesting. But we are seeing some charges here, so I'm going to stop talking about my mundane life and talk a little bit about what's going on here. So these charges, these Steppe Lancers are getting quite a few kills actually, which is not bad. They're both very cheap units, more of a distracting maneuver here. These Longbow Hunters are going to take a lot of damage, and these Steppe Lancers are going to get out alive, which is quite impressive. The cavalry, this is a mistake on behalf of the VOD player. His cavalry should have been ready to chase out these Steppe Lancers. He did it here, effectively. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is the problem with being Steppe, these cavalry, they can chase you out. But he didn't do it effectively here, and he's probably going to lose these Riders on the Hunt as a result, although we probably will see some support for these Riders. Yeah, and these Steppe Lancers are dying. They just don't have the morale and the melee defense to take sustained combat here against these Riders of the Hunt. Very interesting. And we do see these noble riders are going after these Steppe Lancers. That's a bit of a blunder, if I'd say so to myself. They have 12 kills here, but it seems these Steppe Armored Lancers, which are a far cheaper unit than these noble riders, have gotten a nice charge and gotten a few kills. And now we're going to see the Swaby player paying for what he's done. He's going to get chased out here by these Sarmatian riders, which are a fantastic unit, and will get kills. And now he's going to very cleverly, if he's clever, I don't know if he'll do it, but he really should be going for these Kimberly Bowman women. They're very exposed. These Sarmatian riders are quite cheap. They're not going to do well in this engagement. He should have pushed here into those skirmish units. These Riders of the Hunt exposed here. He is microing elsewhere. We do see Flaming Shot being popped by Swordsmith to get these guys to rout more easily. He's going to get a rear charge here, so they're probably going to rout. See, they're going to red morale immediately. A beautiful jab toss into these Sarmatian horse archers, and these guys did get 73 kills, so perhaps they did serve their purpose there. Probably did, but they are going to die, and that means more numbers in the favor of the Swaby player. So we might see a mass rout here if the Swaby player is not careful. So I'd say that engagement went pretty well for the Steppe player actually. So Swordsmith doing a good job here, doing us proud. And yeah, so one of the rules was that you can only forest camp for 60% of your army. So we do see VOD KOE, Vodka, taking some of his infantry out of the forest to abide by that rule. Hopefully we don't see a scuffle here going down, because that would definitely ruin this matchup, which has been quite interesting so far. I mean, we got to talk a little bit about my life, which is undoubtedly very interesting, as I'm sure you'll agree. Not. Oh, now spears have popped wedge as well, so a lot of wedge units here, which will lower their melee defense, will increase their charge bonus. I'm not sure how wise using wedge is actually, because it condenses their formation so much that yeah, I don't know, it could work. These guys are faced away, so VOD KOE should probably be careful of what he's doing here. Again, nothing much going on here. I can't fast forward, unfortunately. This is a mistake from the Germanic scouts. They're probably going to get caught here. If they don't get caught, it's a pretty nice move, but they are going to take some skirmish from these Steppe horse archers, and because these guys were bundled up like this, it means that they couldn't run away as quickly as they could have. And ooh, we're going to see a chasing up here of these Steppe Armored Lancers. And he better get a last second charge here on these Riders of the Hunt. He doesn't, and he's going to get the jab toss from these Woden Spears. So that's rookie error here from Swordsmith, which is definitely a shame. These guys are done. He's going to use his cavalry counter tactics and he's going to finish them off. These guys taking skirmish fire, as are these Germanic scout riders. He's going to lose these armored lancers. This is an important unit. He doesn't have that many to throw away, unfortunately, so he should be a little bit more careful how he uses his armored lancers. He should have gotten that last second charge onto that Rider of the Hunt. then he would have at least taken them away with the lost unit. Yeah, this battle is taking ages. Jesus Christ, my brain is getting fried here. Probably want to get something to eat after this. Have some chicken in the fridge. Gonna cook that with my housemate. But yeah, not sure what these noble riders are doing out here. He's probably trying to entice Swordsmith to attack. Swordsmith is joking about nomads, and he's apologizing to me, but yeah, he clearly doesn't understand the magic of playing as a nomad player. Few people do. That is definitely the truth. Again, not much going on here. Definitely underestimated how long these battles can be. Not gonna cut, but some jav tosses here at these step armored lancers. These guys are actually gonna die now. He's gonna lose another step armored lancer unit, which is concerning. These noble horse archers going in here for the kill. These Woden spears and these noble riders. We see rotation from the horse archers to deal with these Germanic scout riders. Shot in the back of these Woden spears, which is important. So this is why you don't cast live, ladies and gentlemen, because of matches like this. I wish I could fast forward, but unfortunately I can't. So a total miss here from these arrows, but they are going to get a nice shot here, going to kill some Germanic scouts. Arrows missing the armored horse archers again. In the backs of these Woden spears, he's going to want to turn those around immediately because they're going to take too much damage here. Yeah, he's even going to take a volley of shots here from the longbow hunters, but he's going to get a lot of kills on these Woden spears, which are a very expensive unit, a very important unit for the late game for VOD KOE, so this could definitely be concerning for him. These guys are pretty close to paying for themselves, honestly. If a lot of these kills were on skirmish units, but they did do some serious damage to those Woden spears, so I'm going to have a sip of water. Delicious. Longbow hunters taking a shot here. Well, they almost took a shot, so these guys got some free kills here. These arrows are going to miss again, as you'd expect, and the slinger's doing far better, but that's the cost of having max 2. He couldn't bring any more slingers. He'd definitely bring more slingers if he could, but he can't, so... Whew. Step horse archers, again, nothing much is going on. Should tell them to hurry up, lads. Well, the viewer are getting very bored right now. I'm not sure why these spear wool have turned around, exposing their backs. I'm not sure if this is some elite strategy that I have not been made aware of, but Swordsmith is getting some very easy free kills here. Why is his spear wool facing away from the horse archers? Not sure, ladies and gentlemen. A mystery to me. And these Germanic scout riders, honestly, this is probably going to go in the favor of Swordsmith. I mean, he's taken a lot of losses, the Swaby player. And given the amount of time that this match is dragging on for, we're probably going to see a player crash out of it, which is definitely unfortunate. Volley hitting those Amazonian riders, so when archers do connect, they really do hurt bad. But this is definitely concerning for the Swaby player. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to see a best of 3 here played to the very third game, because I don't think that this is going to go in favor of the Swaby. We have too much expensive shock cav remaining for the Swaby to deal with, and the charges will just be very nasty. Can't guarantee that, obviously, but it's probably how it's going to go down, I think. Using my nomad instincts here, I think that the nomads have this, if obviously if he doesn't mess it up. But these noble horse archers will actually be used actually very nice for the late game because they're heavy as well. So even they will do a lot of damage to Swaby units. So we have these Step Noble Lancers and the Royal Lancers as well. We have these Sarmatian Horsemen which will do a lot of damage. More Sarmatian Royal Lancers. So the Swaby player has a lot remaining. Hey Genghis, sorry I should have responded earlier. These Step Horse Archers getting some shots into the rear of these Spear Watch is a very good idea. Sadly, is commenting that VOD KOE didn't have to go completely in the open. But it looks like he's going to do it anyway. These spearwomen taking a lot of damage here. They don't have that much armor. Oh, I wish I could fast forward this. My poor voice. My phone's probably running out of space as well for this recording, as is my computer. I really don't have much space remaining. But hey ho. Is this where we play moving to the top of that hill there? Not sure. Ooh, these light horses should definitely be careful here. They will do very well against these riders of the hunt though. Ooh, are these riders of the hunt going to get in without the step player getting a charge? Yeah, the step player did not get a brilliant charge here, so these noble riders will actually do a lot better than they would normally. And we do see the general coming in here. We see a charge onto these Wodenaz spears. Decent charge, not amazing. Well, it's a pretty good charge, I have to say. Cavalry counter tactics being popped, so they're going to get a lot of kills here. Right now, Swordsmith has to move around and kill those skirmishers. It is imperative that he does this as quickly as possible. This general unit is going to get a ridiculous amount of kills here. They're going very well. 41, 42. These are important kills here. He also should take these Sarmatian Royal Lancers out of this combat as quickly as possible. This is a huge mistake from Swordsmith. Obviously it's very difficult to micro-step, but this is a very big mistake. He has to take them out right now because of cavalry counter-tactics. This is definitely a disaster, although he does have these guys pinned down so he can get a rear charge here, which is important. So maybe he does know what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen, but he has to kill these skirmishers ASAP. But yeah, as I predicted, this is probably going to go in the favor of the step player. I don't think there's enough that the step player can, that the Swaby player can do to deal with this at this stage. There's just too much remaining of the step, and yeah, we're going to see a rear charge here from these armored horse archers, which are actually going to get a lot of kills thanks to how light these Wodenaz spears are. And these skirmishes are over. They are finished, so GG. About to die now. Yeah, they're gone. This general unit's going to die as well. And we should see GG from both players here. So we're going to go to a third game. After we see the stats, I'm going to rest my voice a little bit and I'm going to recover. I'm not going to blabber on, waiting for the players to get ready, because I need to recover a little bit from this bout of commentary. We'll have a quick look at the stats first, of course. Wedge, cavalry counter tactics. Yeah, the general should be dead at this stage. Is the general dead? And no, I don't think the general is dead actually. Losing current combat. The general is not dead, miraculously. He's in this 12, from what I can see. Yeah, he's in this little contingent of 12 units. Yeah, honestly it was a mistake to bring the Swaby against a cavalry army, in my humble opinion. But KOE did win the previous match, so this is going to go to a third match, and he has a chance to redeem himself here. But thanks to both players for playing. This has been quite entertaining. I mean, the first match was quite entertaining. This one was a little bit boring, if I may say so myself. Without a fast forward button, at least. These Kimberly bowwomen are going to die very quickly. Let's enjoy this little charge here. These guys are going to rout now. So yeah. Any second now. KOE is thanking God that it's over, but he definitely doesn't know what it's like to be a commentator, because I'm the only one that can say that at this stage. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the stats then. So, some nice kills here from these noble horse archers and these armored horse archers. These were used pretty well, although I think some of these chevrons were there from before. All these horse archers used pretty decently. These guys were left for the late game, so nice kills from these Sarmatian horsemen. These Sarmatian riders not doing much, but they did get a few kills against skirmishers. But they dropped Draco a few times, which is important. They do have Draco, which is very, very useful for such a cheap unit. These Sarmatian Royal Lancers getting a lot of kills, as you'd expect, against the lightly armored Suebi. These Step Armored Lancers doing quite poorly. You'd expect a lot more from them, honestly, especially against the Suebi. Step Noble Lancers not doing much. And the Suebi player is general, and the other Woden Spear unit didn't do much. These Noble Riders just didn't do enough. These Riders of the Hunt didn't do enough either. These Germanic Slingers were important, but they didn't get enough kills, interestingly enough, because Swordsmith pushed the engagement, essentially, so that his horse archers wouldn't have to engage so much. Well, he engaged for a long time with his horse archers, but he avoided the Slingers, which is why they didn't get as many kills as they should have, and these spear units not doing much. So I'll be back when the game is about to start. Back here of the third game of the All-Kind tournament by ZEAL Xanthopus, and in this particular matchup with between Swordsmith and KOE, VOD KOE, as you've probably seen because you've watched the rest of this video presumably, Swordsmith is going to be commanding Pontus, and KOE is going to be commanding the Arverni. So Pontus has brought two Eastern Archers, 2 Eastern Slingers, which is a good idea, 2 Mercenary Naked Swords. These are a fantastic choice because they're much cheaper than the ordinary Naked Swords. So for me, no Pontic army is complete without them. He has 2 Celtic Warriors, so that's his front line essentially. Then he has, backing up his front line, he has some Noble Blood Cavalry and some Cappadocians, so 4 in total of those units. And he has some Pontic Royal Cavalry here in the center, and as an ace in the hole, he has these Scythe Chariots. And I believe that we're actually playing this game. Normally, this map Rugion is played from these 2 sides, but Xanthopus has switched it, or well, one of the players has switched it, so that they're playing across, so that the forests don't play a huge role here. So let's have a look at the Arverni army. Oh, and we also have some horse archers. 2 horse archers brought, well, 2 horse skirmishers and 2 horse archers brought by Swordsmith. So let's see the Arverni army here then. So we have a front line of Celtic warriors here. We have 2 heavy horse, 2 noble horse, so similar to and 2 light horse, which is similar to the army we saw in the first battle of the best of 3. We also have 2 Oathsworn and 2 chosen swordsmen, presumably 2 spear warriors as well, I'm guessing, which will be really good against the cavalry of Swordsmith. And we also have, no, yeah, that seems to be the army. And we also have some Celtic skirmishers and some Celtic slingers. 2 of these Celtic skirmishers and 2 Celtic slingers, I presume, or there's 1 Celtic slinger, but I can't see the second one for the time being. So who would I give the edge to? Well, in this particular matchup, honestly, I think I'm going to give the edge to the Arverni player, because the only way I see this battle going in the favor of Swordsmith is if he can use his chariots well, because these noble blood cavalry and these Cappadocian cavalry, while they're a fantastic unit, they just won't get the kills necessary. Oh, and we have 2 hoplites, I forgot about them. They just won't get the kills necessary against these heavily armored sword units from the Arverni player. And they'll only be able to do that if they can get rear charges. But because the front line of Swordsmith is so small, it'll be difficult to occupy a lot of the units in the army of KOE, which makes rear charges considerably more difficult. Because as everyone knows, it's very important to catch the entire army of your opponent in order to get rear charges, or else you can't do that. Because your opponent, if he's smart, will have cavalry units protecting his flank. So the only way I see Swordsmith winning this one is if he can take his Scythe Chariots, pin down the whole army with his cavalry and with his infantry, and steamroll into these swords, essentially. And he can keep his horse archers for a late game, which would work very well in his favor, because even if those Scythe Chariots die, if he can get rid of the skirmish and the majority of the swords, those horse archers can use heavy shot and absolutely destroy the Arverni army. But yeah, I'm definitely putting this battle in the favor of the Averni player here. It looks like we have a bit of a slow start here as well. I'm not sure how much more I can add at this point. There is going to be some skirmishing in the background. This is the problem with live games. I may not do live games in the future. I may just cast them afterwards, because this has been quite exhausting, honestly. And I think that in terms of viewership, it's just not as entertaining for you, the viewer, to see these pauses in action which nothing really happens. I mean, this is the bit that gets edited out normally. This is not the bit that you should be seeing. You're here for action. You're not here for these uncomfortable pauses, essentially. And it seems like both players aren't really going to push each other for the time being. So looks like this is going to be dragged out a lot longer than I would like here. This light horse taking a pounding, but we do see Swordsmith wasting horse archer ammo on a very cheap unit, and they are dodging volleys, so he should be careful here. Swordsmith is moving up, and presumably we're going to see the same from KOE, although we might see some little bit of forest camping here. Probably not, but he's keeping his men in the forest to protect himself from the horse archers, presumably, but we'll see how he uses them. So these noble hordes could be quite dangerous, actually, because we see a very significant cavalry contingent from the Averni player, which can be quite dangerous because the infantry engagement there's no question about it. It's going to go in the favor of the Averni player. These guys can't do anything about it. These are support units. Really, what the Pontic player has to do is get a really good YOLO charge on these infantry units, and then move in these support units, and they'll do okay. But even then, they'll struggle. So the reason why I'm a bit concerned for Swordsmith here is because his infantry is not going to win. His cavalry is nice, but these guys are not sure cavalry. They don't have the killing power you'd expect or you'd need for that price, generally. And also, you have some really great cavalry from the Averni player, which means that the cavalry advantage that you'd expect from Pontus isn't quite as pronounced. Which means that he can stop the cavalry in its tracks, stop it from getting rear charges, and finish off the fight in the center with his front line of infantry. So honestly, I'm going to put this battle in the favor of Swordsmith, in favor of KOE for the time being. But I may be proven wrong. But if I'm proven right, it's all the sweeter. These Celtic warriors are going to take a lot of damage here. They just do not have the ammunition, the ammo to take shots from Eastern Slingers. But honestly, I wouldn't be focusing on them. I'd be focusing on the general. He needs to die when you're playing against a barbarian faction. But there is one thing that is definitely in the favor of Swordsmith, although not massively, and that's the skirmish component. He does have these Eastern Archers and these Eastern Slingers, and we don't have much of an answer from the Averni player, which could be concerning. These Celtic warriors are taking rear shots, which is not nice. Never nice to see that if you're the Averni player. Although we could see these heavy horse catch these gentlemen over here, but they're also taking a lot of damage. They're probably not going to catch them. So this is actually a bit of a blunder here from the Averni player. Maybe he hasn't noticed them, but he's microing elsewhere, but this is a big mistake. He shouldn't have done this, because he's going to lose his heavy horse, and there's very little he can do about it. Well, he's going to support with his cavalry here, so maybe he's not going to lose it, but these guys are going to take so much damage from the skirmish fire that they're probably going to evaporate by the time this supporting cavalry comes in here. And this noble horse is going straight in for the kill here. It's going for these Celtic warriors, it seems. Or if they get a really nice charge on these naked swords, they are going to be in trouble. No, they're going to go for the Celtic warriors. Really, his formation should be a lot wider. This is not a good formation. It's not going to get the kills necessary. And if these naked swords get in here without getting charged, yeah, they are. So they're actually, these heavy horse are going to take a lot of damage, HP damage at least, from that charge. Cappadocians, so we do see the support here from the noble horse, but these hoplites are going to go in here. So honestly, these initial engagements have not gone very well for the Averni player, contrary to what I've predicted so far. These Pontic Royal Cavalry getting a really nice charge here on these chosen swordsmen and these noble horse, although they do seem like they're going to get trapped here if Swordsmith is not careful. These naked warriors are probably going to get a nice charge into the general here. Light horse are flanking around. Yep, these naked swords are going to get a very nice charge here into the general unit, combined with these Celtic warriors. I'm not sure he could have hoped for a better charge here of his naked swords. I mean, they are going to die quickly because these are far superior units, but he's going to pour in the skirmish fire. This really is not going as well for the Averni player as it should be, given the armies, honestly, and this is a mistake here. There's too much support on this flank. He shouldn't have committed. He should have cut his losses and let his heavy horse die, I think. Yeah, it's definitely a mistake, in my opinion. Although we might see the Pontic General eat it here, because he's caught by these Noble Horse and these Celtic Warriors, and we're also seeing these Oathsworn moving into position. This could be problematic, and now here is the most important part of the match. Here we see the Scythe Chariots moving in. How well can these skirmishers use their ammunition against these Scythe Chariots? That's the question everyone wants to know the answer to. The Scythe Chariots might not need to survive till the late game if they can get a really nice charge here into these Oathsworn and these Celtic Warriors, but they have to keep on moving. They're taking too much skirmish fire. Come on, Swordsmith, you have to keep on moving, and this just isn't good enough. I know it's difficult with all the micro, but these Scythe Chariots are not paying for themselves at the time being. So this is going to be a massive blow. The General has died of the Cappadocian player, which is very concerning, and the Scythe Chariots have not been used properly. So while in the beginning the match was definitely going in the favour of the Arverni player, it has definitely swinged back in the favour of Pontus, I would say, given that massive expenditure waste in the form of those chariots and those Pontic Royal Cavalry. So well done to VOD KOE for keeping his cool and turning this battle around again. So my prediction resumes back to what it was initially. I'm gonna say that KOE is gonna take this one home, but we'll see. So these Naked Swords probably got a nice charge, so they're paying for themselves. These are only 380, remember, so they don't have to get that many kills to pay for themselves. We see some very nice skirmish here into these chosen swordsmen. But then again, you know, I say that I think the Arverni player is gonna take this one home, right? But there's so much skirmishers left, and there's very little cavalry left for the Arverni player, which means it'll be very difficult to get to these skirmishers. And if these guys are given time to fire, they will do a lot of damage. So this might actually go in favor of Swordsmith. I may have to bite my tongue here, proving me wrong, Mr. Swordsmith. But these Black Cavalry have been doing an excellent job. They pinned down these units very cleverly so that the Scythe Chariots could get in. They didn't get the Scythe Chariots did not do the good job they had to do, but still it was clever. We see two chevrons here, so they've gotten some important kills, and hopefully if they can get themselves into these Celtic Slingers, we'll see the last of the skirmish component of the Arverni player dying, which will be very important for Swordsmith. Swordsmith is pouring fire into the backs of these Spear Warriors, and this looks like it's going to be GG in the favor of Swordsmith. So very well played, using this very varied skirmish and cavalry-based army to its maximum potential. It's a shame about those chariots. He definitely could have ended this a lot quicker. But unless all these skirmishers are out of ammo, this is definitely going to go in the favor of ZEAL Swordsmith. So I have to say, I didn't call this one, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, which is definitely a shame. But oh well. These hoplites, yeah, these guys just cannot deal with this cavalry and hoplites support. Somehow the horse skirmishers were caught here by these chosen swordsmen, but they are not an important unit. Let's have a look here. So we are going to see the rear charge we expect on these spears. They better pop cavalry counterattacks. Not that it matters much, because this is probably going to be GG at this stage. The general is just going to take too much skirmish damage here. So very well played here. By Swordsmith and by VOD KOE, of course, but Swordsmith definitely got the better of him in this matchup. Although it's not over, of course. We are going to see a rear charge into these hoplites. They can take a lot of damage here, so that's nice. But we do see the pouring in of more skirmish fire. These Eastern Slingers only have 39 kills, which presumably means that they have a lot of ammunition remaining, and these Oathsworn are just going to take so much damage. Yeah, this is GG at this stage. Good game, guys. Thanks for the entertainment. Honestly, that second game was not very fun to cast, but the first and the third were very interesting. So thanks for these two players, and thanks Xanthopus for inviting me to your tournament. It's a shame I didn't go as well as I would hope, but we still got some fantastic games here, so everyone wins. And yeah, we should see the Oathsworn route here any second. And it's GG to Xanthopus, and he's going to take this tournament home. To Xanthopus, to Swordsmith, so well done. With a lot remaining as well, so definitely a good job here. Yeah, KOE makes the point that Swordsmith had too many nice units, and by that he means that he just had such a varied army. It's difficult to deal with that with a barbarian faction, because a barbarian faction is entirely reliant on getting its charges into the mainline infantry of its opponent and dealing with them that way. But if they just can't get those nice charges and just keep on getting skirmished, there isn't much you can do. So These Pontic Royal Cavalry not getting much. They got trapped too early. These Scythe Chariots doing very poorly. Huge waste of money. He just couldn't micro them well enough. These Cappadocian Cavalry doing okay. So yeah, on the whole, the cavalry did really well. They did their job, essentially. They didn't get that many kills, but they did their job, which was to pin down the units of the Arverni while the skirmish did their work, while the Scythe Chariots did their work, and while the swords did their work as well. These Horse Archers doing okay. They did survive to the late game. These Horse Skirmishers getting 2 chevrons because they killed the Celtic Slingers, so that's quite impressive. These Hoplites surviving to the late game, but they routed, so they didn't. These guys survived the late game, so nicely done there. These Naked Swords doing a pretty decent job, and all the skirmish doing a fantastic job. So the Arverni player is Oathsworn, getting 104 kills, 129. You just need more kills from Oathsworn, and you need more kills from these Chosen Swordsmen as well. On the whole, he was denied the charges and the units. Swordsmith just kept on pulling back his units and taking engagements that were suboptimal for KOE. So it definitely went very well for him there. These Celtic Warriors not doing much. These heavy horse, these guys got trapped and destroyed. So, and these noble horsemen were lured into that trap there, into a position where they couldn't win. If he managed to keep them to the mid game, it would have been a big difference. But it's a great shame that he didn't manage to do that, because it would have been far closer, and the skirmishers wouldn't have had as much free reign as they did. And these Celtic skirmishers doing a decent job, because they're the ones that killed the chariot, which is why they have that 1 chevron. So thanks for watching this best of 3 of the finals of the All Kind tournament by Xanthopus. I'm absolutely exhausted. I've lost my voice. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'll see you next time.